you look back 6 years ago, money was growing on trees. Anybody could get a loan. You could pick up the phone and anybody could get a loan for anything. Business, house, cars, it was easy to raise money. So, you know, we go out there, we make this thing work. The first season of The Ultimate Fighter happens, this thing skyrockets, starts to take off. So of course, the fight business is a fun business to be in. So everybody starts diving into this thing. Well, it's easy, right? Just throw 3 letters together and buy a cage and put on fights. Anybody could do that. So these guys go out, and the biggest mistake that everybody makes when they try to compete with us is they try to compete with us. First of all, we didn't come out yesterday and put together an organization and now we're on Fox and now we're on pay-per-view. Anything you do, nothing happens overnight, man. It seems that way, but it's all hard work. I have been on planes, trains, and automobiles for the last 13 years, out selling the sport, getting deals done, getting doors slammed on my face. You name it, it's all happened. And these guys come out and they just start throwing money around and start trying to be the UFC. Don't try to be the UFC. The first thing you have to do when you start a business is know exactly who you are and what is your game.
Ask me, how do you do this? And you have to do it. I mean, it's when you're building a business like the UFC or any other business, you know, you have to work, and it never gets easier. It's funny because it's 13 years now, and we're in 175 countries in 23 different languages and over 1 billion homes worldwide on television. And you think, you know, when you're early on building this, like when we get to this point, you know, I could probably
chill out.
You're right, exactly. Yeah. And it just gets harder and harder. It doesn't get easier, it gets worse.
Thing that we do different than any other sport, especially boxing. When you think about boxing, right? They do the same thing. And how many guys in here, who's boxing fans? I am, I'll raise my hand too, okay? Like 5 of you and me. But here's the thing that boxing did, and the question was asked earlier on the decline of boxing. What would happen was, the fight would be coming. It's a week away, and I'm so excited, I can't wait. I'm watching everything, I'm reading everything that leads up to the fight, right? It's the night of the fight, I got all my buddies over, we bought all the pizza and the beer, we're ready to roll, and a fight never happens. These guys run around for 12 rounds and the fight doesn't happen. Do you know why? You know why this has happened and why boxing is dying? Because the sport has become so greedy. Nobody was ever thinking about the future of the sport. It's about how much money can we all put in our pocket right here, right now. Who cares about tomorrow? So essentially what you get at the end is you get 2 multi-millionaires, right? Who step into the ring and do everything they can to avoid a fight so they can win, just barely win, to get to the next multi-million-dollar fight that we pay for, right? And it just became ridiculous, and it's exactly what goes. Think about this. Think about every person in this room right now if I guaranteed you all $37 million. Guaranteed. I guarantee you $37 million this year. Guess what you're gonna do? Not much. Not much. Are you gonna bust your ass every day? Your alarm's gonna go off in the morning, you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna go to class. What do I wanna go to class for? I got $37 million. Who's going to class if they got $37 million? Nobody's going to class. You know what happens when you get $37 million and you're a fighter? I don't want to get punched in the face. I got $37 million, man. I'm not getting punched in the face. This is ridiculous. We incentivize guys to fight. You get money to show and you get money to win. And then you get money for the best fight of the night, you get money for the best knockout, money for the best submission. You're incentivized. No different than any other business in the world. Show up at your job and have a half-assed day. See how that goes. Nah, I'm not in the mood today. See how that goes. You have to be incentivized. When somebody hires you, when you guys leave this school and go to these other jobs, you will cut out a deal where you're working for some big company where you'll have incentives and bonuses. It's the way the real world works. Boxing does not live in the real world anymore. And that's why it's hurt.
The thing is with the guys like Mike, is as human beings, we're fascinated by who the toughest guys in the world are. We are. I say this all the time. If you think of all sports, right? And people in here are probably football fans, baseball, basketball, whatever it is. And take Jordan, who's probably arguably the most famous player of all time. You know, do people really know Jordan all over the world, in every little country, in every, Wayne Gretzky, The list goes on and on. It's like, right, I'd like somebody, anybody, maybe this will be the first time it'll ever happen. Is somebody in here, tell me who the greatest cricket player on earth is. Nobody? Yeah, I didn't think so.
How great would it be if he was here?
Yeah.
And then he just went and killed himself.
I've done that a million times and not one person's ever said, I know who the greatest cricket player is. But my point is, you walk anywhere in the world, everybody knows Mike Tyson. Everybody knows Muhammad Ali. Bruce Lee died in the early 70s. Does anybody in this room not know who Bruce Lee is? Everybody knows who Bruce Lee is. He died in the 70s. As human beings, we're fascinated by who the toughest guy in the world is. It's always been that way from the days of the Roman gladiators. You know, I always have this thing where I say, I can throw all kinds of stats and bullshit at you about the UFC that's true and all these things, but here's something that I don't know if this is true, but it's what I truly believe, and it's what we built this company on. I believe that before a man threw a ball through a circle, before a man hit a ball with a stick, two men were put on this earth, somebody threw a punch, and whoever was standing around ran over and watched. Fighting is the first sport ever, and it will be the last sport ever. It will be around till the day we die, till the earth no longer exists. Fighting will always be here.
If you don't think the UFC is exciting, you gotta be a lunatic. Okay, I don't know what you want. You want to see people get beat with baseball bats? You know what I mean? First of all, that generation of people that think that you know, oh, I want the no holds barred and no rules. It's that big. This many people want to see a freak show. This many people want to see a real sport. Huge difference. So the market of people that are like valet tudo and we want all the no rules and all that stuff. And I got to be honest with you, the whole no rules wasn't very exciting. You know what I mean? It really wasn't. And what we try to do is we keep trying to push the sport to be more and more exciting. You have to understand what my job is. What my job is, in this day and age, how old are you? You're 27? I'm 43, okay? When I grew up, there was Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 8, and Channel 13, okay? If you called me, I had to be home to answer the phone because we didn't have answer machines, any of that stuff, right? So, this day and age, if you want to see some crazy go on YouTube, type in any crazy you want, and 50 other crazy will come up on the other side that you can watch for 3 days, right? You can go to the movies, you can go here, you can do this, that, you can do, there's a tons of things you can do. I have to convince you to stay home on Saturday. Not only stay home on Saturday, when you've been busting your ass at school all week, working, all the other things you gotta do, you probably wanna go out, you know, meet some girls, or take your girl out to dinner, or go to a movie. I compete with all these things. Basketball's on, football's on, you know what I mean? All this other stuff that goes on. I have to convince you to stay home on Saturday and pay $55 to watch my event. That's what I have to do. That's my job in this business. And when you stay home, get all your buddies together and you sit around and you buy my fight for $55, you better be entertained. Because if you're not, you know how hard it's gonna be for me to get you the next time I have an event? It's not gonna be easy. But that is what I do for a living. I put together fights that are compelling enough to make you stay home on a Saturday night and pay $55 for it.